welcome to today's streaming from 1867. This is me, Roblox, and today I thought I would do something different, and that is I am only going to go inside different buildings. Well, this building here is the guardhouse. It is situated just over the entrance to the city, and this is where the guards would rest and keep warm in the winter time and also feed. And if you are hungry, you could even take yourself a nibble of something to eat. Glug 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 glug. Oops, I mean yum 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 yum. And yum 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 yum. Right, off I go. Let's have a hunt around and see what other places you can visit inside. I think I'll head down this street, which is called Ector. And the first building on my right hand side that you can go inside is the butcher's. In here you can buy food. Well, really, you can just take the food for free. All you got to do is click on the food, yum 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 yum, and your hunger will go back to 100. So if you're feeling hungry, just walk inside here. And this looks very much like what a butcher would look like in Victorian times. Not very hygienic, but the meat would be hanging from hooks in the roof, and the butcher would cut the meat up on the counter. Let's go and have a look inside some other buildings. Now I'm going to head left down Bridge Road. Here I go. There is one building here you can go inside. I wonder what's inside here. Oh, yummy, yummy. It's the cheese shop. And here again, if you are feeling hungry, just click on some cheese, click, yum, 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 and your hunger will go back to 100. And don't worry about the cost, because all the food is free at the moment. And not only is there cheese to be had, but also we have got some herbs hanging around just for to taste and add texture and taste to the cheeses. We've got some bay leaves, I believe, and some garlic. Now on to the next building. Out I go, down the street, down Bridge Road, but this time I shall turn right, and this door here opens automatically. It just welcomes you in, and this is the tannery. Now let's go upstairs and have a look and see what would be inside here. Well, inside here you would have the leather. The leather would be thrown into these pits on the ground, and these pits would be filled with caustic chemicals. Falling inside, help! Don't fall inside, it can be very dangerous. And you can see my health has gone down by half because it's filled with really caustic chemicals that will burn you. But these chemicals would burn the leather and make it easy to scrape the hair off the leather. So the workman would pull the leather out of the pits using these long poles with hooks on the end. And here's one left against the beam of the building. And they would place the leather skins on these formers and run a blade up and down the leather. There's the blade just by the former. And because the leather had been in these pits for several days, the hair would come away all loose. And then they would roll them back into a different pit that was filled with urine. and dog feces, and the urine and dog feces would gradually make the leather go soft. And by the way, actually, if you wear tweed and the tweed gets wet, you may wonder why it's got that strange smell. Well, it's the same process, and when it gets wet, you can just smell the chemicals that have been used to soften and make the leather or the tweed go soft and pliable. And here upstairs, the leather has been placed on rack to dry out. Right, I'm going to go out now and into the next building. Oops, don't get caught behind a door. Take care. Now the next building must be my favourite building of them all. And before I go inside my favourite building, I'm going to just pop next door and go inside the office, because you can go inside this building here, which is the office to the factory. Well, it's not really a factory, but I'm going to call it a factory because of terms and conditions of Roblox. I'm not going to say what this factory really makes, but you can have a good guess, because there are two vats here that are bubbling away with some liquid. And it is all driven by steam engines, and this is why I love this building, because I just love steam engines. Now these steam engines here would drive the belts, and the belts would go up into the roof and drive wheels in the roof. And then those drive wheels would be connected to other wheels in the roof, and they would come down and transmit the motion by other belts. So these vats with stirrers inside are actually controlled by these steam engines here. And you can see the workings of the steam engine. You've got, oh, don't touch it, otherwise you will kill yourself. I saw a flash of red on my screen. I think I hurt myself. Yes, look, my health has gone down. Do take care. Do not touch these machines. Going back to how these machines work, we've got a furnace here, and there's one over here for the other machine. The furnace will be used to heat up water, and then the steam will pass in these pistons, and it will drive these flying wheels. This large wheel here, I believe, is the flywheel. A flywheel is basically a large, heavy, rotating wheel which is only there to create momentum, so that when the steam engine runs, it runs smoothly at a constant speed, not too fast and not too slow. And there's also another device here called a governor, and it's this small spinning device here. Now the governor is connected to the flywheel. Oh, I touched the wheel again. Take care. Don't do that. I done it again. Oh no, don't touch it again, otherwise I'm going to die. Do take care. Now the governor is attached to the flywheel by using a bevel gear, which is a gear at a 45-degree angle. Here's the bevel gear, and that flywheel has got heavy balls connected to a shaft, and the balls, when it spins, are flung out. And you know that when things spin round, if they've got a larger diameter, they spin out further. They've got more angular momentum, which means they want to slow down. So when this spins too quickly, it wants to slow down, and the balls fall in to the centre. And when it spins slowly, it will, because the balls are in at the centre, it's got less angular momentum, which means it wants to go faster, and the balls are flung out like here. So this governor actually governs the speed of this steam engine. Isn't that crafty? Right. Oh! I said don't touch the flywheel, and I've touched it again. Oh no. I'm back at the start. Oh well. In that case, I'll have to take a different route and go on to the next building that I was going to go to. The next building I was going to visit was going to be the workhouse or storeroom. When I say workhouse, I don't mean a workhouse in which you are forced to go to work when you become a pauper. I mean, a workhouse is as in a house that you go into to do work, construction and DIY. I'm not quite sure whether this was a workhouse attached to the adjoining factory or whether it's a storehouse. But at the moment it's being used to store some barrels of water. Okay, I'm not going to tell you what's really in the barrels again. Terms and conditions of Roblox. Okay, out I go. Oh, by the way, actually, if ever you come in here, walk up to this chest. Woohoo! Because you get a free gift. There's an Easter egg here. Now you might say, why is my character wearing a cape? It's no ordinary cape. It's a magic invisible cape. It's a cloak of invisibility. I can't say it. Invisibility. There it is. I said it in the end. It's the cloak of invisibility. Just click on the screen. Click. Oh, and I've disappeared. I've become invisible. But don't worry, you will become visible again. So mark my words, you will come back. Anyway, let's take that off so I don't become invisible by mistake. And on to the next building. So I'm going to cross over the bridge. That was the River Alzette, which runs through Luxembourg. And I'm going to go into this church. The doors open automatically. Yes, you can go inside this church. Now at the moment it is daytime, as you can see by looking outside. But if you come here at night time, it looks really, really spooky. And you can go in the rooms round the back. And not only that, if you walk up to the back of this room, you get a badge. You get the I Met Cyber Piper badge. Really, that would be a storeroom. And here is another storeroom on the other side. I'm going to head out of the church and turn left up this street, which is called Vauban. Along Vauban, I'm going to stop at one really important building. This is the butcher. Oh, it's the baker's. I was going to say butcher. This is the baker. And the baker's son was Laurent Menneger, the national composer of Luxembourg. And by the way, if you get hungry, just click on some bread. Click! And your hunger will go back to 100. I can see I'm getting thirsty, so I think I better go and find something to drink. Out of here, turn right down Vauban. But rather than going down to the church, I'm going to pass this door, which opens automatically, into the water shop. Now you might say, that's not a water shop. Oh yes it is. I'm going to say it's a water shop because, yes, you've guessed it, terms and conditions of Roblox. Well, you can click on any bottle of water, click, and your thirst will rise. I'll click on again, click. It goes up, I believe, in increments of 50, which is why it took 2 clicks to go up to 100. So there we are, that's the inside. I do like that stag head. I just wonder, if a stag's head is poking out of the wall on this side, I wonder what's poking out of the wall on the other side of the wall. The stag's bottom. No. Don't be silly, say. Don't be silly. Right, Again, that door was an automatic door, so just walk up to the door and it opens automatically. It started to rain. Umbrella on, so I can run in the rain. And by the way, if you've got the umbrella on, you know this trick, but if you jump, you can fly! Fly through the air, woohoo! Anyway, I'm going to go to this building here, take the umbrella down, never wear an umbrella inside a house. It's bad luck and bad manners. Walk up to this chest and you get a freebie. It's a walking stick. Now, as you might guess, looking around the inside of this building here is the grocer. Now, in days before supermarkets, if you want to buy meat, bread, vegetables, you had to buy them in different shops. So this would be the green grocer, the shop that sold green groceries. Green groceries as in groceries that are grown. So green groceries or green grocer is basically vegetables and fruit. Now you might say, why have I got a walking stick in my hand? Well, you get it by walking up that chest. And look at this. When you walk now, woohoo! Watch me go! I am so fast. Back I go. Because next door to the green grocer was another shop you can go inside. Well, I say shop, not really shop. Can't call it an office, I don't know. It's the undertaker. So through here, and here is the undertaker, conveniently placed next door to the church. And let's go outside for a second. This, I do like this. This cart here is called a beer. Now it sounds a bit like a word you can't say, but don't worry, I can say this because it's not spelt the same. B-I-E-R, beer. This is a beer. A beer is a wagon used to convey coffins. So coffins would be placed upon this beer, and then the beer would be wheeled over to the church, which is there. Conveniently close. You can also go inside this building here. Now, this is just an ordinary residence. We've got a parlour at the back. Parlour comes from the French word parler, to talk. So this is the room where you bring guests and just talk with your guests, because you would never take a guest into the private areas of the house. And by the way, if you want to know where the toilet is always at the end of the garden. The privy or toilet would be placed outside the house because there was no indoor plumbing. And there would be a hole dug in the ground, and you would just empty, well, the waste would come straight out of your rear and in through the hole in the privy and drop into the hole, and there it would be collected at night time by the honeymen. They were called honeymen because it stunk, not of honey, but it stunk of poo. And so they're called honeymen. I don't know, it's a joke, because it wasn't honey they were collecting. They were collecting night soil. Sometimes called the night soil men, or sometimes called honey collectors or honeymen. Now this house here has been set up to be the lodgings for some soldiers. These soldiers who patrol the city would have to be let in houses around the city. So general privates and general soldiers, not the officers, but when I say general, I mean not officers, but privates and those without rank. They would be let in houses around the city, and here one house would have 2 soldiers. Apparently the people did not like letting soldiers in their house, but they're forced to do so. And as you might guess, they didn't like having soldiers in the house because the whole soldiers got drunk, and they would also bring their I'll be careful what I say. They bring their lady friends back to the house. They weren't ladies. Yeah, they bring their friends back into the house, which meant that they were not popular with the house owners, especially if you had children in the house as well. But the house owners were forced by law to put up soldiers. Right, out of here. Let's go to the very end of the street. So I'll go along this street here. Now forgive my French, Rue des Bons Malades, the road of the good ill people. Because, so I've been told, there was a leper colony along here somewhere, and that's how the road got its name. But Cyber Piper can tell you more about that because he lives in Luxembourg and he knows more about this. Here's another guardhouse used by the soldiers to rest, to eat. Click! And you want to replenish your food. Oh, that click I think actually was the badge. That didn't actually. Oh, yes, it did. No, it didn't. No, it didn't give me. It didn't give me an increase in hunger. That click, gave me a badge. So you can get a bread badge. Now there are 2 entry exit points. The one we came through, and there's one leading to the other side of the fortifications. And these fortifications lead up to the cliff base. Now, I'll put a lantern on so you can see more clearly. Now I'll head back inside the guardhouse because this guardhouse here, this one is slightly different to the other because you can go upstairs. Oh, let's take that bucket off so I can get upstairs. I think the bucket got in the way. Up the spiral staircase. Now I say spiral staircase, but I'm a mathematician and that is not a spiral, that is a helix. So up the helix staircase. Well, you know, it's a spiral staircase. I wish people would call things by their right name. And you can even go up here in the top floor. It's got a really low ceiling. What would they do up here? I think they would look out of these peepholes to check on people coming in and out of the city, and I'm guessing it could also be used for storage, but there are peepholes here where you can look out and possibly fire out to keep the city safe, but you could also look out to make sure nobody was attacking or, which is really strange, to make sure nobody was escaping, because apparently, so I have been told by Cyber Piper, these walls had 2 main purposes. One, they were here for protection of the city, and by the way, actually, for additional protection, you could also lower a portcullis through these slits in the wall to stop boats going up and down the River Alzette. So the walls were built primarily for protection, but they also had another purpose, and that was they stopped the soldiers from deserting because it's night time and the soldiers were paid so badly that at night time the soldiers would tend to desert. And so by locking the gates at night time, the city authorities would stop the soldiers from deserting. Now, can I get inside this last building here? No. I tried that earlier on. I don't know why. In the past, you could just barge through this door. So I better check this door and find out what's wrong. But you can go inside here. This is another storage room or guardhouse. I had a word with Cyber Piper, and I don't think he's 100% certain what that room was used for, but at the moment we are using it as a storehouse. So when I finish this stream, I shall go into studio and try and work out what's wrong with that door. Why doesn't it open? Well, I hope you enjoyed having a look around the city with me, and not only that, looking around the inside of the buildings, because it's not often we look at the insides. Normally we walk around the outsides of the buildings, but today, just for a change, we went round the insides of the buildings. And here you can get another badge. I met Cyber Piper badge. And by the way, in case you're wondering, when we first built the exterior part of the city, we used to place stone walls along the road. But we decided that was not totally authentic, because looking at photographs of the city, the roads outside the city did not have stone walls. Oh, it's morning! Let's look at the sunrise. And so we removed the stone walls. And I'm guessing also they wouldn't have stone walls, because if they had got stone walls outside the city, then if the city was going to be attacked, then the attackers could hide behind the stone walls out here and avoid being shot. And they could also demolish the stone walls and use the stone walls as ammunition for bombarding or throwing at the city walls before the advent of cannonballs. I suppose you could use a ballista or catapult. No, I think actually a ballista throws darts, whereas a catapult throws stones. Now I said that, I'm now going to go and double check that on Google later on. What is the difference between a ballista and a catapult? But as another reason why they wouldn't have stone walls out here, they might be used as projectiles for throwing at those in the city. And by the way, if you look at the skybox, the distance, in the distance here, you can see a replica of what Luxembourg would have looked like in 1867. So these pictures here are actually authentic to Luxembourg. Now, if you can recall, the road here runs up Ector, uphill, and that road leads to the city of Luxembourg, and here it is, the city of Luxembourg out on a hill, and there are additional fortifications on the walls outside. I just can't see that one, it's behind a fog, it's a shame. I did see a fort out there, but now it's started to rain. The rain has caused the sky to get more cloudy, and so I can't see the backdrop quite so clearly. But if you get a chance to walk around, have a look at the backdrop to the skybox, because that would be exactly what Luxembourg would look like in 1867. As you can see, Luxembourg is in a valley through which the river Alzette runs through, and on the left hand side and right hand side are two large cliff faces, and the city was built between those two cliff faces, which meant it was a really strong fortification. So strong, in 1867 it had got the nickname of the Gibraltar of the North. And when Luxembourg was made a neutral state in 1867, one of the constraints was that the fortifications should be demolished in order to retain its neutrality. And so today, this building here is, it's completely demolished down to ground level. You can see a floor plan of the building, but this building here has been demolished. Although this gate here is still standing, and so is the other gate. That's good, because it's lovely seeing old buildings. So although the city was told to demolish the fortifications, there are a few things still standing, but many of the fortifications have been now demolished. Right, it's daytime. Let's get rid of the lantern. It let me put the lantern down because it's no longer daytime. Nighttime, it's now daytime. And let's put the umbrella up because it's raining. And I have spoken for far too long. So I am now going to say goodbye, YouTube. Thank you for watching today's live stream. Bye. Don't forget, subscribe to this channel for more news and updates from the world of 1867.